to myself, this is the literal and real Word of God, as spoken through a man who not only gave us, and I didn't know anything about the other books of Islam at the time. Right. I didn't know anything about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be unto our Prophet. I only knew that what I was reading was a stronger version of the Bible. That it was not simply the inspired word of God, but it was the actual Word of God. And not only the literal word of God, but in our Prophet Muhammad, peace be unto our Prophet, we have a record of from his birth to his death. And this book contains within it a way of life that includes politics, includes religion, it includes how to handle a family, how to handle a disruptive son, how to handle your daughters when they're not behaving.
Well, let me ask you just one question. Now, you had
course.
studied a lot of other religions.
Yeah.
Did you find that in any of the other religions that they offer such a complete way of life?
Complete philosophy in Taoism, yes,
Right.
but not a complete way of life. It's very difficult to compare an Eastern religion with an Eastern religion with an Eastern religion. Taoism is a very, very complicated religion. Hinduism is a very, very complicated religion. Islam is a very, very complicated religion. It's not really for me to decide which one is right and which one is wrong.
But
The
when
question-
but just my question, when
Yeah.
someone is searching, sometimes they come to a point when they know they have arrived. This is the point I'm trying to make. Because you became Muslim,
Yes.
so it must have been something inclined you to accept Islam, to take the Shahadatain.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
It was the actual reading of the Quran. It was my deep belief inside of myself that I had finally found the living Word of God contained in a text. And I didn't want to be without it.
All right. So when was it that you actually took Shahada?
In Mainz, Germany in 2002, in July.
And how did that take place?
It took place in a Sunni Turkish mosque outside of Mainz, at the request of a man named Aladdin.
Okay. And then, I mean, what happened after that? I mean, how did your life change after taking Shahada? How did you feel after becoming Muslim?
It took a long time for me to come to terms with the decision that I had made. I tried as hard as I could to follow the advice that I was being given by the people around me. And in a minute I am going to have to go to prayer. And I kept it in my heart there were circumstances in my life at the time that I'd rather not get into that kept me from practicing the religion to its fullest extent. So I kept it in my heart and my mind until I was able to come into the masjid and begin to practice and to become a Muslim as is intended in the Quran. And this is recently that I've been able to do this. I'm of the belief personally that there's no point to conversion to Islam if I'm going to convert and become a bad Muslim. It's my intention in my own conversion, and this is just personally for me in my own life. It's my intention in my conversion to become a good Muslim, and to learn what that means.
Right.
In this masjid here, I've very recently been instructed by some very, very beautiful people as to what it means. It's not just 5 prayers a day. It's the supplications and the du'as. It's the sayings and the thought process of your mind. It's a cleansing that, like an onion, each time you perform the cleansing, you see that there's another layer that can be cleansed, and another layer underneath that that can be cleansed. And also, in the way that I look at it, like the onion, it's like an onion that's the size of the world. And each time you come into the mosque and you talk with a Muslim who's been practicing 30, 40 years, you get the tiniest piece of the onion, which you can enjoy and eat and remember.
Right.
And every time you come back to the mosque and you show an additional effort, you get another little tiny piece of that onion. You can never hope to eat the entire onion, but each piece of Islam that you digest and that you understand becomes a special moment in time when you can say to yourself, I had a small piece of that reality in my mind for that moment. And it's upon those moments that I'm beginning to build my faith in Islam. To me, it is intensely personal. It's not a journey that I'm undergoing because I'm trying to impress you or because I'm trying to impress my friends. Most of the things that I do are behind those doors where there aren't going to be any cameras. With the other brothers who have studied Islam for their lifetimes. This is my own journey to finding I compare it to a diamond in the rough. A diamond in the rough, you can have 2 stones. They can be of equal size, equal weight, and equal potential. You hand one to a jeweler who can cut the stone well, and you have a very valuable stone. You hand the other to a jeweler who cannot cut a stone, and you have a worthless rock that might as well be crystal. What happens behind those doors in the teachings of Islam from those that have studied and learned and show up for prayer is that my life, my heart, and my soul are in the hands of a jeweler who knows how to cut a stone. And it's my hope that one day my actions will reflect that expertise. And I don't mean from one human being, because I'm not being taught by any one individual. I mean that the whole of Islam, that the brothers that care enough to take me aside after prayer are forming a human being's heart, soul, and mind into a diamond. That I, myself, as a human being, can impress others with. And when they say, wow, you shine so brightly, Alhamdulillah, I can say, proudly, maybe, if I study hard and I learn about this beautiful religion through the teachings of brothers that know it.
Right. And let me ask you, your family and friends, do they ask you about your conversion to Islam, and have you been able to talk to them about Islam?
I'm a very open human being. Anyone who asks me about my conversion to Islam, as much time as they would like to take with me, I take with them. And I can